Hello everybody and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. Instead of unboxing a new product or looking at a retro console, I thought I'd take a look at some of the Evangelion merch I have, starting with the Evangelion Soundtracks that I own. Now this actually seems quite apt because in October, in celebration of Evangelion's 25th anniversary, they're going to be releasing a 25th anniversary box set of Evangelion Soundtracks, which I think comprises the Evangelion 1, 2 and 3 soundtracks, the Death soundtrack, and possibly the End of Evangelion soundtrack. I'll pop a link to that in the description below, and this is a set that will retail for about £100, comes in a nice box, has a nice illustrated art book there, and will be something that I will be unboxing when I actually do get it. Now, as far as the soundtracks that I own go, it's more of a recent thing over the last 4 or 5 years that I've actually started collecting the soundtracks. So, there are a lot of them out there, and I think a lot of them are kind of out of print now or harder to get hold of. So, this is by no means a complete collection. It's just ones that I haven't been able to amass over time. So I think the first one that we'll go through, we'll start from one of the first soundtracks that I actually bought. And this is one that I many years ago when I got into Evangelion downloaded all the soundtracks via various means. And this is one that I always kind of returned to and really liked. So this is one of the first ones I had to pick up, and it's the Evangelion Day of Second Impact soundtrack. I think the key thing here is this was meant to release on what would have been the Day of Second Impact in the show. It was released in the year 2000. So let's have a look here. There's a crack in the jewel case, unfortunately, but it comes in a sort of yellowish jewel case. The artwork on the cover is nice, and we open it up, and you see the CD there, and the back here. You see the track listing there. We've got Angel Attack, Decisive Battle, Fly Me to the Moon, Thanatos, Cannon, version of Air, the Thanatos from the End of Evangelion soundtrack, Comsas Todd, and Jesus Be Mine Fronde. And I can't remember what these two tracks actually are, and I cannot read Japanese, so unfortunately that is going to be one recurring theme here, that I can't actually read Japanese. But this is actually a really good soundtrack. It's got a lot of key sort of pieces of music from the series on there, as well as the End of Evangelion movie. It's sort of one that I would kind of recommend to get a bit of everything for fans on there. We'll have a look at the. I don't think there's too much in the jewel kit in the actual booklet there. Oh yeah, the second track is actually "Fly Me to the Moon." You can see there, you've got the lyrics in there as you would expect from any CD. But no, this is a really good soundtrack. Would definitely recommend giving that one a listen. The next one we get to comes in this lovely red case, and you can just kind of see there, this is the End of Evangelion soundtrack. So I picked this one up at a convention a good few years ago. I did not expect to find this one at all, so I was very happy with finding this one. Again, we got the track listed on the back, and again, I can't read Japanese, so I can't tell you what any of them are. Even seeing the translations, they've all got quite unusual names, but this is basically just all the orchestration and songs from the End of Evangelion soundtrack. This is a really good soundtrack as well. I mean, I'm going to be honest, most of these are good. All of them pretty much are good. This is one of those ones that you listen to, and if you've seen the movie quite a few times, you do start to visualise those moments from the movie in your head. You start to get chills. Released in 1997, King Records there. And you see the artwork there, very sort of atmospheric, and another crack in the jewel case. It's probably from when I moved. There's your CD there, and we'll have a look at the booklet itself. And the booklet, we get quite a few. There we go. We got the track listing there, and it kind of lines up with the moments from the movie. There you go. I remember seeing that for the first time in that movie, and it just had such a profound effect on me. We got the very unfortunate moment there. Thanatos, along with the lyrics to go with it from the mid-scene break. We've got the various scenes going through it. This is so cool. Lyrics there. And then we've got the very end. It's like sort of the credits and everything there. So yeah, that's the End of Evangelion soundtrack. I realised I probably should have pointed out like key songs from them. But kind of hard, I haven't listened to this one in a while, but obviously Comsos Atode is just one of those songs that I think everyone thinks of. It's a meme song now, in a way, because the tumbling down refrain. Air is always great. Yeah, on this one, I pretty much like all of it, but just around this back end after Thanatos, If I Can't Be Yours, onwards, just absolute chills from those moments. Air will probably make me cry in most circumstances because I just associate with that scene and Oscar being my favourite character. I remember not being too fussed of the first 5 tracks, but 6 onwards definitely gets me. And just to move back to the Day of Second Impact soundtrack, if we're going for track listings on that one, I absolutely love the orchestral version of Thanatos on here. It just has such a nice sound to it, such a nice build-up in there. Really do like that one. The next one is Refrain of Evangelion. This has got kind of a dual cover type thing going for it. You see Osaka on the cover there. If you look at this album normally, you probably won't see that cover. On the back, we've got the track listing there. We've got Karu on the back with mass-produced Eva. And there we go. We've got the track listing there. So this is kind of a bit of I guess a little bit of a best-of the Evangelion series, sort of a bit of a compilation there. One of the reasons why I got this particular one is I wanted this soundtrack with this track here, track 26, Everything You've Ever Dreamed, which was originally meant to be in the End of Evangelion soundtrack. I think it was meant to play over the final credits, but it was actually cut from the movie for various reasons. I'm not quite sure why, but it's a very, very striking song, a very lovely song. This is a really good soundtrack as well, but you can see that it's kind of got a mixture of songs from the series as well as from End of Evangelion and Death in there. So just to open up, this is what I mean about the dual cover. That is the primary cover of it, but I have obviously reversed it so that you see the other one. And what we've actually got here, which I think is quite cool, you see we've got Oscar Shinji there, you've got Toji. You've got that picture of Karu again. Got a lovely picture of Masato, a picture of Rei, and the picture of Oscar. So I think kind of the idea there is just, you can kind of pick whichever one you want to go on there. Or you can put this up as a poster. Then that would make things look pretty bland in your CD case. So the next one to look at is one of the box sets. So kind of after I mentioned the 25th anniversary coming up, this was released for the 10th anniversary of Evangelion. This comes in quite a nice cardboard box. One thing I do like about the way CDs are now is they come in like better casings than the old dual cases here, so they're less susceptible to cracks. Of course, this comes in a box, and then you've got the actual normal CD in there. Yeah, this is sort of like a 10th anniversary of Evangelion. You sort of see the CD there, you got the Nerve logo there. It looks really, really nice and professional. And let's see if we can find the, we've got the track listing on the back here. So this is, again, just a little bit of a best of with some additional new tracks on there recorded for it. Now, again, it's got the kanji in there, but there are quite a few tracks on here I do really enjoy. There's also like a 10th anniversary edition of Soul's Refrain and the main theme of Evangelion. Kind of like if I remember correctly, it's kind of a bit of a jazzier version. It's very, very good. I'd see tracks 12 and 13 there. I think the song I'm thinking of in here translates as Infinite Embrace. Now, it might be track 14. I can't quite remember. But this is a very good soundtrack. It's got a few staples from Evangelion on there, but a lot of the tracks here, which kind of a theme with Eva is there's a lot of tracks in here that were newly recorded for it. You go through again the booklet. Again, all the lyrics there are in your kanji. It's just got pictures along the bottom of the show, and then of the end of Eva, and that's. So yeah, this is a really lovely soundtrack. This one, got a lot of listens driving back down to my parents' place after I moved to Scotland. I'll pop that one away. So that's kind of the CDs covering the original series. I've kind of divided it up in original series and the rebuild films. So then we move on to the first Evangelion rebuild movie, Evangelion 1.0, You Are Not Alone. Again, this is one of those ones comes in like a nice little slipcase, like protective cover. And then we've got the track listing there. You can see me in the camera. It's very reflective. So yeah, we just got, it's pretty much a track listing here. I think this one and all of the rebuild ones are actually on Spotify and your streaming services now. I've got some demos down there of it. So, a lot of the music in this one, from what I remember, was kind of in the original Eva series. I will be honest, I haven't really listened to the 1.0 one that much, so I can't really comment on it too much. We'll get a look at the CD there. I don't recall listening to this one as much as some of the others, but have a look at the booklet, and it's just kind of the individual songs with credits, and then you've got the pictures of the actual recording process there. Now, if I'm not mistaken, one of the cool things about this one, yeah, it was recorded in Abbey Road. I think all of the Eva rebuild soundtracks, at least, were recorded in Abbey Road, which is pretty cool that, you know, you would come all the way over to the UK to record the Eva soundtracks. And it's just, you know, obviously Abbey Road has a big history with it. The Beatles, Pink Floyd recorded quite a few albums there, I think, and so on and so forth. So the next one we'll look at, the artwork itself has a bit of a Metallica Black Album vibe going for it, in that it's very black with, I don't know if you can kind of see the little image there of the Eva. Kind of hard to see, I'm tilting it the right way. But yeah, very reflective in there. Now this is I've listened to this one quite a bit. Yeah, you see the back is very much the same. You've got 2 discs here as well. We got, if I remember some of the key themes here, we got like Carnage, The Final Decision We All Must Take, being quite sort of heavy and powerful themes. This is a really, really good soundtrack as well, from what I recall. And we've also, I think we've got the little sort of, I guess, I'm thinking lullaby-esque songs in there. They're not really lullabies, but they're sort of the very light kids songs that play at certain points in the movies. I think we've got that on track 2 here. So like tribute to Sound of Music and stuff like that. This is not really too much to say about this. It is just all the orchestral tracks from the second rebuild film. It's a good soundtrack. All of the Eva soundtracks for the films have been really good. But I think, out of all of them, the key one to look at will probably be this one. From Evangelion 3.0, You Cannot Redo. Flip it over again, and again, just the very same layout. Really hope they keep this sort of consistent layout for the 4th movie. Now, we'll have a quick look inside, and this one, just like the others, is dual discs. It's dual discs. Yeah, 2 CDs. Over. And you can see at the front cover, we've got the Shinji Karu, very, very famous piece of artwork there. A very, very thick booklet going with this one. And yeah, we go through and you've got all of the various lyrics for all the songs, because Evangelion 3.0 seemed to take a very powerful orchestral choral kind of direction. We've got a lot of like actual lyrics to the various songs there. A lot of choirs singing it. It was a very, very interesting soundtrack, actually, for that. 3.0 was a very interesting film. I remember seeing it for the very first time, and you kind of looked at it and thought, have I got the wrong film here? Because it started off very different how I expected. It took a massive diversion, and this is really cool. You've actually got the score here for Quatramains, the famous piano sequence in it. Quatramains, I believe, means 4 hands. It's a piano piece for 2 people to play. I think there's sort of a interview in the back, which I can't read. So, because once again, I don't understand Japanese. Here's something. It's one of my things that's on my to-do list to, you know, maybe learn one day. Now, I can probably tell you favourite tracks on here. Wrath of God Notes Fury is just one of those tracks that gets you amped up, but I can't really pick out a favourite from it. Another interesting thing that I should mention is there are a number of tracks on this which are actually originally from the Nadia Secret of Blue Water soundtrack. Gainax's and Ano Hideaki's famous anime from the early 90s, which is sort of a prelude. It is one he did before Eva. I'm trying to remember the exact one it was. I think it might be the Anthem was the one I'm thinking of. But yeah, there's so many good ones on this. It'll Mean Victory is very good. Remember Betrayal being pretty decent. Wrath of God and All of Its Fury, very good. God's Gift is great. And you got your bonus ones on here as well. And of course, you know, where is it? From Beethoven 9. Obviously harkening back to the original series. And you have got Quatramains on here too. So yeah, that's the rebuild soundtracks. Probably favourite of the rebuilds is the third one, in terms of the soundtrack. The other two, very good as well, but the third one just takes it for me. So now we get on to the more miscellaneous based ones, and we'll start with this one, the Outtakes from Evangelion. This was released about a year or two ago, I believe, and this is just sort of tracks that weren't necessarily used in Eva, or maybe inspired by. I think Londonderry Orchestra and Piano might have been what they used for that Until You Come to Me short animation they did as part of the Animator Expo. There were a few Evangelion things. So this is quite a nice one. Like I said, it's just unused stuff. You got some rough kind of sketching for the album art. And we sort of put up there. Yeah, and once it focuses, I think there's just sort of telling you about each one, maybe what it was used for. But yeah, there's not too much to say about this one. It's a good soundtrack, but it's kind of unused stuff, so I think it's kind of one of those ones that maybe for collectors only. An interesting one. The next one isn't an album, and I'm leaving these two deliberately till last. The last one isn't an album, it's a single. Really. It's a re-recording done a couple of years ago of Cruel Angel's Thesis and Soul's Refrain. So, yeah. Track 1, Cruel Angel's Thesis. Track 2, Soul's Refrain. And then you get Cruel Angel's Thesis and Soul's Refrain, the off-vocal versions. That's just, see, the karaoke versions, as we might call them over here. Not a lot to say about this one. It's a nice little single. It's pretty much, yeah, you've heard it. It's you got your lyrics in there. It's a nice re-recording of them both. Probably not too interesting to get hold of now, but you know, as a collector, I do like to get that stuff. So now we move on to the final three, maybe a bit more interesting. So the first one, not really a soundtrack to the show, but good few years ago, I got a game on the PSP of Evangelion called Sound Impact, or Sound Impact, I believe it's meant to be said. It's meant to be a bit of a pun. There you have it there. It's a rhythm game. So, as with a lot of rhythm games, it came with a original soundtrack. So this is a rhythm game that just kind of takes you through the first two movies of Eva, the rebuild films. It's a really, really cool. You'll have heard a lot of these tracks if you've heard the first two soundtracks. There's a little bit of remix here, a couple of different variations on them. Now, it doesn't actually say it on there, but I believe one of the cool things about this, which is kind of embarrassing that I've forgotten his name, I believe these were remixed by the same guy who did a lot of the music for the Silent Hill games. Unfortunately, it is not revealing to me his name in the booklet, but yeah, the booklet for this is just like how to play the game. It's a really, really good PSP game if you get hold of it. It's one of the only kind of like accessible Evangelion PSP games, I guess, or Evangelion video games out there. Because you kind of need to know a lot of Japanese to play them. I do have the other PSP game up there, like think it's called like Another Cases or something like that. But it's an RPG, so very hard to play that one. So that's that one put aside. The next one is the World Evangelion Jazz Night. Your favourite themes from Evangelion, remixed in a jazz style. This is a really, really good album. This is another one that got quite a lot of listens in the car driving back down to my parents. It's the Evangelion music in jazz arrangements. It's a variety of jazz arrangements there, and sometimes it will make you go, what the hell is going on, as is the case with jazz. Yeah, Come Sweet Sweet Death Second Impact is a great track, but you've got many more on here. I think I remember Dilemmatic Triangle Opera has a fantastic name. Theme Q, Super Duper, is good. And of course a version of Fly Me to the Moon, because how can you do an Evangelion jazz soundtrack and not include Fly Me to the Moon, which is in essence a jazz song. But yeah, the artwork on it's great. Let me take out the thing there, and it has like a really cool kind of intro here where you've got like the narrator kind of welcoming you to the Tokyo Free Jazz Club to play all this jazz music. But yeah, it's very good. Maybe because it's jazz, it's for a bit of an acquired taste, but definitely if you can give this one a go, heartily recommend that one. And the final one, not strictly an Evangelion album. This was released a couple of years back. This is a live recording of the Evangelion vs. Godzilla Symphony concert. So, Anno Hideaki obviously created Evangelion. He directed Shin Godzilla a couple of years ago, which is a fantastic film. I would definitely recommend going to see it. And as part of it, as part of promotion for that, there was a lot of tie-in merch where they put Evangelion vs. Godzilla. It was kind of hopes that there'd be an OVA or a film that would come of it at one point, maybe some manga or whatever. Nothing ever did, unfortunately, but you got a lot of merch, a lot of t-shirts, figures, jigsaw puzzles, and they did this concert where they played a number of tracks from the Godzilla soundtrack, the Shin Godzilla soundtrack, and the Evangelion soundtracks, and sort of interspersed them into medleys and played them all, and it's just such good stuff. You've got 2 discs worth, and yeah, I cannot recommend this one enough. This is again one that's just gotten so many listens, and I listen to this one quite frequently when I'm working or writing. From what I remember, yeah, Persecution of Masters, Godzilla thing, and also to the point, Shin Godzilla, directed by Anno Hideaki, had a lot of Evangelion references in there. Many people did liken it to kind of, this is what a live-action Evangelion movie might look like in certain respects. And it reused music from Evangelion. Things like Decisive Battle or Angel Attack was used in there. Various imagery and motifs used in there. If we go through here, because this was... oh, look at that artwork. Yeah, it's just amazing. Such good artwork. Yeah, this is just 2 discs of really, really good music. And there we got the images there, like from like things like rehearsals on the night itself. And yeah, this is just one. Cannot recommend this one enough. This is one of those concerts, you know, I kind of wish I was at this particular one, because I bet this would have been a lot of fun. And there he is there, the man himself, the creator of Evangelion, and director of Shin Godzilla, collecting a bouquet of flowers. So yeah, there you have it. Hopefully, you know, this inspired you to go out and check out some of the soundtracks if you haven't already. If I had to pick some favourites to go through, I would probably say, if you're going to check out any, Evangelion vs. Godzilla soundtrack, Jazz Night soundtrack, we have the 3.0 soundtrack, and from the original series, I would go for Decade, and probably Day of Second Impact. But yeah, Thank you all very much for taking the time to watch that. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you would like to see me go through more of my Eva merch in the future, please do let me know. Thank you for that, and see you again in the next video.